Cancer, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, you have my love. I appreciate you. If you're brand new to the channel or just cross-watching, my name is JT. We're going to do just a general reading, and like I always say, hey, sometimes the major arcana, the minor arcana, they line up with our day-to-day grind, and sometimes they don't, so just use your intuition. And do keep in mind that right before your reading, I always transition from haiku poems right into your reading, okay? All right, we're going to take a look at Cancer energy and find out what wants to shake loose. Cancer, I wish for you the answers that you need here, clarity that you're looking for. I wish for you peace, harmony. I wish for those soulmate connections or those love interests to show a sign, give you some kind of an answer. I wish for you stability in your life, financial wise. I wish for you the people around you understand you. All right, I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but for transparency's sake, I'll shuffle for you. All right, we're going to look at the current energy. We're going to look at the crossing challenge. We're going to look at the foundation, the recent past, possibilities, the near future. We're going to look at the self, the environment, hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. All right, Cancer, give me a second to check out these cards. And while I'm doing that, here are your brand new poems from Haiku Corner. Okay, Cancer, we start off your reading with this Ace of Swords energy here, okay? This is all about clarity. It's all about communication. It's about to come in. We do have the Eight of Wands. We'll talk about it. But what I feel like is perhaps some of you have a couple of options here, or there is someone coming back. Somebody's orbiting your energy, okay? Right off the bat, we do have like air signs. We've got water signs. Anyway, if you're down, we're going to talk about it, okay? All right, with the Ace of Swords, we're talking about some kind of a confession here, a message, or a realization. Like I said, we do have air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Take what resonates. You might be dealing with any of those signs. Also, like I said, we do have the Moon, which would represent Pisces here. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So just kind of take what fits. But this is about a text that's going to come through, maybe at some kind of a weird hour. It's got that blunt, maybe an unfiltered. This could be you about to speak your truth, right? Someone ghosted you, I don't know, you send out that long paragraph like, hey, ain't going to play that way. This is all about masculine energy here. They admit, I think they admit to you, maybe they misjudged you somehow, I don't know. And the feminine energy here is like, you're about to say your piece. Like I said, you've been holding back, and I don't feel like it's going to be any longer here. For some of you, I don't know, this might be like a sudden moment of clarity that hits, while you're doing something mundane. You're vacuuming, you're, doing some spring cleaning, something like that, hanging up the old coats in the closet, that type of deal. And then all of a sudden, eureka, right? Something hits you here. We could be talking about like a job opportunity. We do have the Queen of Pentacles out here. But what I'm trying to get at is this is where your decisions and the confusion, they meet each other. You know what I mean? Like something's about to clear up, and I think there's going to be definitely something about your financial decision here that's going to become obvious. Um, maybe a third party or something like that comes out, not dramatic, just I feel like the facts, and that third party could represent some kind of an external situation, like I said, a job. But definitely, I'm feeling a relationship here. We got some kings at play. We got, two kings and a knight here, and we're going to talk about it. But anyway, so I feel like this masculine energy is like I want to clear the air, no matter how awkward this shit gets. But the feminine energy is really like I don't know. I'm about to speak from emotional authority here. Okay, so this is like no more guessing, and this is the knowing in this energy. Okay, we're gonna talk about this challenge card. And this is why. Okay, we got this Eight of Swords energy. This isn't an external block. It's the mental loop that I feel like maybe you're falling into whenever I don't know, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, or you just get like emotionally stretched out, right? And so it puts you into that overthinking kind of a situation, replaying old conversations, feeling stuck, maybe between two people, or just two timelines, two disciplines. Something here is kind of in that it's that illusionary, it's that worrying, that you're going to repeat some kind of a past heartbreak, or maybe for some of you, it's kind of like feeling like you're being watched on social media. But you're not knowing what to do about it, something like that. But it's got the masculine energy is afraid to reach out because I think they assume you're over it, or the feminine energy is maybe afraid of being way too much here. Okay, we're talking about for some of you, it's that worrying about that money, that anxiety, and it kind of spikes around the nighttime for some of you, right? You got a little time to settle in, so but I think that's about to change for you. Okay, but for others, it's feeling trapped in a job, unsure how to leave. It's that moment where you kind of like freeze up instead of just acting upon something. It's an illusion card. Keep in mind it's one of those situations again where I need you to just take it with a grain of glitter. All it is, just energy. But your mind is louder than the truth. We saw that with that Ace of Swords. Okay. All right. Let's take a look now at the foundation. We got this Eight of Wands energy. Like I said, communication's coming in, and for some of you, I feel like this could be like 3 to 6 days from now, or it could have just happened yesterday, or 3 to 6 weeks. I've just got that feeling there is this when the Eight of Wands shows up, we're talking about nothing is in the way. There is nothing in this sky right here holding any of this information back. So this is momentum, communication, right? It's movement. It's all those fast shifts in things, right? That sudden text from someone, maybe you thought you guys were over with, right? Or that job opportunity that's about to move quickly. Like I said, I do sense there is some kind of energy about the job situation, but this could be that masculine. I want to see you in person, and exchange, energies back and forth. But the feminine energy here is like sending that bold message. I mean, I just got that right. You're done. That Ace of Swords. That's all about communication. A financial decision here. You know, um, Maybe something pays off a little faster than what you expected here. You know, um, I did sense a little bit of a third party kind of a situation here. Maybe that I don't know. Maybe it reveals themselves. Through some kind of a slip up, some kind of a I don't know. But this could also represent like a sudden burst of motivation here, right? So it's all about acceleration. And I feel like it's kind of like this is all about the timing. As soon as you let go, right? Stop forcing situations. This baby's about to move. Okay, we're talking about quickly. All right, now we're going to look at the recent past, and this is a little bit about what I was talking about here, right? You got this Three of Swords energy. Um, you know, I'm not trying to rip the band-aid off here, you know what I'm saying? But this is one of those things we need to look at. This is the wound that kind of like shaped what your boundaries are here. All right. Some of you, it's that breakup, right? Maybe you didn't receive the closure you deserved. Like I said, we could be talking about that third party for some of you that just complicated the situation. Maybe someone chose somebody else temporarily, and it just busted your heartstrings, right? Or that it does also represent like a masculine here who regretted maybe how they handled the situation. Um, but it's the feminine energy maybe like shutting down emotionally here. Some kind of a painful truth you didn't want. but I feel like you needed, like I said, we see that in that Eight of Wands, that clearing up, right? That movement. So, there's a betrayal here that stings, right? But I think there's a moment where you realize, I deserve better, and so some of you could be having them old love songs playing in your mind, you know what I mean? Just kind of taking a temporary boohoo for a moment, and I don't mean that with any grit. I'm just saying yeah. Sometimes it takes a little bit to heal off of wounds, right? So it's carrying a little bit of disappointment in that card, right? But this pain didn't break you. I feel like it's recalibrated you, and we're going to talk about this, okay? The reason I say it is because in the possibilities we got this Knight of Cups, right? This is some kind of a romantic offer. This is some kind of a gesture towards you, and I feel like there's some sincerity in it. Okay, so this kind of puts that pep back in your step. You change from the heartbreak songs to the, I don't know, maybe some of them cool R&B songs. I don't know. Take a look. Maybe those. There might be some other ones. I'm sure. I got a hell of a list here, but anyway, I feel like this is going to be that masculine energy that's going to send that message to you, right? It's that you know you, you've opened up a little bit more emotionally, and so for some of you it's like, JT, I don't feel like my heart's open here, but I'm saying sometimes it's the action that other people's do. You've been needing that action. This is the action. The Knight of Cups comes in with action, and it's all about emotions, right? It's all the cups represent emotions. Like I said, we could be dealing with Pisces energy here. We don't have to be, but the cups do kind of represent the Pisces, so. But this is that surprise compliment, something that boosts you up. Someone admits, "Hey, I missed the hell out of you," right? And it could be that new romantic interest in your life. It's all about opportunity opening here. You know, maybe for some of you, this could be like a financial blessing that's tied to, I don't know, maybe someone or something that's a little artistic. We could be talking about maybe a shift from that almost to finally, right? I mean, it's got that kind of an energy here, right? So I feel like I feel like love is like becoming really brave again, and this is your energy, okay? So it's kind of like that's what's in the air. Love is in the air, 24 karat magic. But I'm just saying, you know. Anyway, we're going to talk about the near future, and we got the moon. Like I said, could be dealing with Pisces. Don't have to be, but we could be here. Um, it's all about your intuition. We could be talking about secrets, dreams, um, but this is emotional depth. Okay, the moon reveals that which sometimes we're afraid to see. The secrets that come out, the revealing. This could be that secret crush. That could be that Knight, of Cups there. The masculine saying, "Hey, to be honest with you, I was just jealous," or the feminine energy would look something like just hiding their desire. This could bring out like those mixed signals. That information about the mixed signals. What they actually mean, and that would be like, "Hey, I'm scared." I've been in relationships before. This has happened, so it's kind of like that revealing, right? The moment where you sense like, you know, an uncertainty, but I feel like it stabilizes. This could be that late night confession. That truth that comes out kind of like indirectly in some kind of a situation. But not everything is what it seems, right? But I feel like your intuition is dead on here. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about the next cards here. This Seven of Wands energy in the self. Okay, this is you. Um, this is you're protective of your peace. Your heart, your time, and you have every reason to be. We saw that through Three of Swords, but what I'm getting at, it's that finally blocking that one who drains the hell out of you. It's that, I'm setting boundaries even with family. I'm going to say the word no without guilt here. The masculine energy is, it could be defending their feelings for you. The feminine energy here is like, I'm refusing to settle. Okay. So you're standing up for yourself. For some of you, this could be like at work related situation. For others, it is it's choosing yourself, over a situationship, right? I'm not going to respond immediately to any more text. I'm kind of walking away from drama. You know, I'm done being accessible to all the wrong people here, right? I know this kind of stings a little bit, but it's really what the cards are talking about. So um, we're going to look at this environment, and we have this King of Wands action here. This is all about action. This is fire. Like I said, we could be dealing with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius here, but We want to talk about this energy who wants to pursue you seriously. This is someone's watching you consistently. Someone jealous of your attention. For the feminine energy would be like stepping into their power completely. But this is leader or boss type energy here. Okay, maybe somebody's noticing you at work. Maybe you're I don't know, maybe you work around somebody who is maybe in a higher, kind of a status than you, and they're kind of eyeing you. It could look like that new client or opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the way this person, their work ethic, whatever. So this is where that escalation of that Eight of Wands energy comes in for you again. Excuse me, but for others, it could be that flirtation that kind of escalates quickly. You know, um, it's definitely like a competitive energy that's around you. Someone wants to impress you, someone wants to level up with you, that type of energy. But I think someone sees you, as worth the effort. It's like, I think you're going to know this. Like you said, we saw the moon card, and so when they act like it, I think you're going to know intuitively that that's what this means for you, right? And for some of you, like I said, it could be that I don't know, that sexy, energetic fire, passion, romance. It's about to flip. Okay. All right, let's talk about the hopes, fears, wishes, or worries. And we've got this Queen of Pentacles now. This is all loyalty. Loyalty, it's emotional safety, but I kind of feel like there's still that I don't want to be taken for granted here. I'm not going to be the giver anymore. And I think, like I said, this is, to me, it kind of rings out that financial stability. There is a definite feminine energy here. Okay, I want to nurture myself without losing myself in things, right? But this has got a desire for a home. This has got family, long term planning in it, um, and definitely that wish for the stable income. So I really feel like there's something, there's something in the patterning here it's got, a hope for a love that feels like home, but also there's some kind of, you may be about to be, you may be about to be shown what stability really looks like here. For some of you, whoever this person is, and we're going to talk about it, but you want something real, and I feel like you're definitely willing to wait for it. Okay, I say that because in this outcome and the direction, you got the King of Cups. Okay, this is all about emotional maturity. It's all about emotional availability. Emotional depth. Someone is about to step up here. Okay, Cancer, you know who this is. This is that masculine energy that's expressing the real feelings towards you here. The feminine energy, she's in the receiving. I deserve this love. Okay, so open your heart. Right, this is the part where you open up your heart. This is that confession that's going to feel really calm, not chaotic here. Okay, I feel like this is the turning point where that relationship becomes official for some of you. Okay, a new love, right? A financial situation that stabilizes here. And for some of you, it's that job that kind of aligns with your emotional well-being. It's just like, it may seem a little too good to be true, but this is like a love that feels grown. It's not rushed. Okay. All right, Cancer, here's the kicker. Yep, you may have just stopped or about to stop, kind of like living in that emotional limbo here. But the Ace of Swords opening up in your reading here, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is that message. This is the confession. That is your current energy. You know what I mean? And so we had that Eight of Swords that's kind of showing all those mental loops, that you're breaking out of, and something's rushing in quickly. Okay. And so I feel like, I feel like, I feel like that hope isn't naive. It's accurate, right? In the past hurt, yeah, but I feel like it's shaped your boundaries here. The future. It's romantic. It's got bravery. Anyway, someone's about to step up. Someone's going to confess, and they're going to choose you. And I feel like it's not out of fear. It's going to be out of, going to definitely be out of clarity here. Cancer, I really liked the reading. I hope you did too. If you did, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Anyway, uh, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave last week's reading here in case you want to check that out. Anyway, I love you. I respect you, and I appreciate you for showing up. Hope I get to see you in the next readings. Okay. All right. Bye bye.